Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump, and today I'll be reviewing Resident Evil 7 the Daughters DLC. Now, this was part of the Volume 2 of the Banned Footage DLC, which was released back in 2017. And the main plot of the Daughters DLC is that this kind of acts as a prologue to the main game. Within Resident Evil Daughters, or in the DLC for Daughters, the Daughters DLC as a whole, is that it kind of tells the events of how the Baker family brought in Evelyn and how they got infected by the mold. And you see all the events happen through the eyes of Zoe, who was sort of a sort of like sort of a character who worked in the background, sort of, because in the main game she helped Ethan Winters go through the Baker house and trying to find a cure to stop her mutation or to cure her. And I think with this DLC, it's interesting to see like how the events of the main game of Seven uh, how it became what it was, because it shows it can show like how even this how a small how a small decision can have lasting effects, because with the Bakers bringing in Evelyn, they were basically doomed, and then that's how they got their weird, strange mold powers. And yeah, I would say it's I think because like as a whole, when you're playing through the game, it's kind of like a sort of stealth based mission in the sense that you have to try and escape from. It's kind of similar to how in the first part of Resident Evil 7 you have to get out of the main house. It's kind of the Daughters DLC is kind of similar to like that. Instead of having to use guns and stuff to fight your way out, you basically more have to use the objects in a particular area of the house. So like in like the main hallway area, where that's where you see Mirayette, the mother character, the one with the bugs. You have to use all of the different. You have to use the chairs, the sofas, that sort of thing to get from the stairs to the front door, so you can unlock it by using those one of the dog head things, and then I think that's really cool and really interesting because like it's very different. Even though it's similar to the main game, it's sort of different because with the main game of Seven, you had your guns and you felt somewhat safe with that because you were basically armed and you could have at least some way of fighting your way out. But with Daughters, you particularly have nothing apart from your lighter to kind of help you see. And even with you, if you have the lighter, the either Jack or his wife will probably try and find you if you do have your lighter on. And I think that's a really cool way of trying to avoid enemies or the enemies in the game and stuff like that. And yeah, and the ending is kind of similar to how Resident Evil 7, the main game, does it, in the sense that there are two options, there are two alternative endings, with the first one being the bad ending and the second ending being the true ending. And they have a sort of, if you do the bad ending, you can see like this bit of text. I don't know 100% remember what it says, but I think it says something like even the smallest changes can have the hugest effect. And once you go through the right area, you are able to get to the true ending. And if you choose like the right decisions and change how you do your approach to try and get the true ending, then that's something you can obviously do. And then you'll get like then the events that lead into the true ending will lead into the main events of Seven. And overall, I think it's a very interesting prologue. because it basically, as I said before, it sets up the events of Seven and how the Bakers became the way that they were. And as before, I do like how it's like I do like how the smallest decision has the biggest impact. And yeah, it's just, and you can see like how one small decision the Bakers made would change them forever. And I do like how the Bakers are just the victims in all of this, in the events of Seven, and I'd probably say Resident Evil 8 as well. How the Bakers, because even though the Bakers aren't in Seven, they only mentioned like in one cutscene towards the end. Um, they are still somewhat the victims because of the events that happened before Seven and what you were told during Eight, during Village. So yeah, so I do like how you have these normal everyday civilians that you might not really know much about, and just basically make them the victims of this uh, virus mold thing, or bioweapon that was created, that being Evelyn. So yeah, so that's been my review for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, the DLC, the Daughter's DLC. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.